This video is about using 3D models in Unity. Specifically, we've downloaded a Unity model, 3D model that has some animations, and this video is to show you how to work with those animations. So first thing to notice is that I do have Unity up and running. I have created a basic scene. I've added a plane onto it just so we have something for the wolf to stand on and walk around on. And I have downloaded a 3D model wolf. Now, when I click on this 3D model wolf, notice it comes with its textures. There's a README file, and here's the wolf. And for this README file, I do wish to show you that. So I'm going to share the README text file. And this gives you the information on the wolf that I've downloaded. I did get it for free. And so I wish to give credit to the people that I got it from. So there's the first part of the README, and I'll scroll down, and there's the bottom part of the README. And I'll let that pause for just a second because you don't need any more time than that to be able to freeze the video. Okay, back to Unity. Okay, on Unity, here's the wolf, and I'm going to open this up, and you'll see there's a lot of things here. The only thing of concern to us, though, are these, which are the animations that came with the wolf. And the animation that I'm going to be showing today is the wolf run cycle. And while I'm here, there's a little thing about looping, because once I do get the wolf started and having it run, I do want it to just keep repeating the run animation. So I'm going to edit this. What I'm looking for is down towards the bottom. And right here, it says loop time. Now you can change it here, and every time you come back, it will look like it's fine. But you do have to apply this for it to actually be looping when you put it in the scene. So a little update there quickly, and everything appears to be fine. Okay, I'm going to take the wolf, drag the wolf up into our scene. And it looks dark. I'm not too worried about that. The animation is what we were after. But I do want the wolf to start in this corner and run to that corner, and then the back corner, the back, and back around, and just keep going round and round the outside edge. So I would like the wolf to start facing this next edge, and I can do that simply by coming up here to the rotation and rotate the wolf at -90 degrees. Oops, that's 900 degrees. That didn't quite work out. There we go. Okay, and so now the wolf is facing in the right direction. I do need the wolf to start running. So I want to make use of this run cycle that they've got there, the run animation. For there to be any animation, you have to have an animation controller. So I'm going to create, and I right-clicked, by the way. I was in the assets area and right-clicked, and now I'm going to create, and down here is an animation controller. And I have that. I'm going to rename it to the Wolf Animator Controller. So Wolf Animator Controller. Okay, so I've got that. Now then the controller needs to be attached to the wolf object, which is right here. So that's listed over here in my hierarchy. And I just click on the wolf. And this brings up where I changed the what direction the wolf was facing. And so I'm going to take this Wolf Animator Controller, and I'm going to add it to the wolf. Okay, so we now have a Wolf Animator Controller right there. Okay, so what I want the wolf to do is run. Well, I need to open up this Animator Controller. Let me try double clicking. And if that doesn't work, there's a tab up there I can just go with. No, that worked fine for me. Okay, and notice it is a tab now. Up here we have Scene, Game, and we have Animator. Okay, so this says at the point that you enter what do you want the wolf to be doing? What is the animation you would like the wolf to do? Normally we'd go with an idle and then move it to something else, but in this case, we're going to make the wolf start running immediately. So I'm going to choose this animation, which is the wolf run, and I'm going to drag it up into my animation controller, animator controller. Okay, now it's orange because this is the default animation. As soon as the game starts, then the wolf goes into running. And that has been added to, the animator's been added to the wolf. The animation has been added to the animator. There's no condition on this. That's just where it starts. Let's see what game it's looking at. Well, no, thank you. So I'll come back into scene. And if I'll pick the main camera, go up to game object, I can tell the camera to align with my current view. And when I click on that, you'll notice over here in the camera preview that now lines up nice. So I'll take a look at game. All right, let's try to run this thing. Let's see what it does. And the wolf is running in place, which is not what we want. Okay, so to control the movement of the wolf, that's going to take a little bit of C# script, and that's what we're going to do next. So let me stop the running, and then I need to add in a C# script. So again, I'll come down to Assets. I will right click, and I should be able to create a C# script. Okay, and I'm going to call this wolf controller script. So I'll rename that wolf controller, WOLF controller script. Okay, and just hit enter on that and give it a second, and this should update and show my script. There we go. And of course, it's got the basics in it, which are not what we want. So I'll double click and open it up, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're just going to need this. Let me just put it in. We'll see when we use it here in a second. Okay, so I'm going to say static animator. And I needed an animator, so I just name it anim, for short for animator. Okay. And then I'm going to, well, I'll run into the problem first, and then I'll come back and put more in here. Okay, under start, I need to say that my animator is going to be equal to, and if I don't tell it where to go look, it will assume the object the script is attached to, which is right. It's on the wolf. I want to get component, and the component I want to get is the animator, and we created that just a minute ago and put it in there. And you've got to close that off with parentheses. It is a function call. Okay, and that's looking all right. Now then, when this thing runs, every update, it's loping along. And so I want to try to get it moving across the screen at about the same speed that it looks like the wolf is running. So I'm going to say the following, transform, and this will be transform.translate, which moves him. And I want to change the X none. I want to change the Y none, which is up and down. Whoops, X, well, let me put in here for the X, I'll put a 0. For the Y, I'll put a 0. And the Z is the only one where I've actually got him moving. And so we're going to change how much he moves. And this has to be a float value, by the way. So I'll typecast it into a float. And this takes some guesswork. So I'm going to put in 0.03. Whoops, not 0, but 0.3. And that's just from having messed with this. Let's see if it actually looks like it works. Okay, I put in this code. Here's all the yellow showing me the changes I've made. Let me click on save and turned all green over here. And if I check over here for little red marks, there are none. So it looks like that is good to go. So let me change my view back to Unity and we'll see what happens. Okay, we're back at Unity. The name transform does not exist in the current context. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, ho, ho, ho. It looks like I got a little bit of help on that. So let me go back into my script. And I didn't type all that in. I wasn't paying attention and it changed all that for me. So I've got to come back in and change it back. I want this to say transform. And I don't want any extra help on that. Okay, so that looks like it's staying. I'll save it and look twice this time. Okay, so yes, that did say stay the same this time. I have saved it. Again, no little red marks. Let's go back to Unity and see what Unity tells us about it. And if you'll notice, after it updated itself and what I'd put in, our little red arrow error at the bottom went away. Okay, so let's see what happens now when we try to run. He's not going very far, is he? Sure does look pretty, but that's not what we're after. Okay, so we left something off. What could we have possibly left off? Could it be that we did not put the script with the wolf? Let's go back and look. Wolf, add component. Say this script didn't get added to the wolf. The script is running, but it's not doing anything to the wolf. So I'm going to click and drag, drop the script in over here. And let's try that again. Okay, and made it to the corner and kept on running. Let's try that again. All right, so there he goes. And I don't know, that may be too fast, maybe too slow, but one thing for sure, he sure made it, kept right on going and didn't turn. All right, so we're going to have to do something about that, and we'll do that in our script. Okay, so I'll come back in now to my C# script. Let me share that. Okay, so there's 2 or 3 ways to do this. One of probably the better ways to do it, but we're not that experienced yet, it would be to simply build invisible walls around it. And whenever he runs into a wall, you can do a collision and then you can have him turn. Another way to do this, and this will only work as long as we leave the field that he's running on the same size. If you need to change the size of the field later, you'll have to come back to this code. That's why this isn't the best solution. But since this is all we're illustrating at the moment, that's what we're going to do. So back in the code, along with an animator, I'm going to add in a private. And I want this to be of type int, and I'm just going to call it count, and that's going to be equal to 0. Okay, now then, whenever I come in to this and I move the wolf a little bit, let's count the movement. Okay, so I'm just going to say count plus equal 1. So my counter goes up by 1 every time the wolf makes a movement. All right. So now then what can I do with that? Well, after the wolf has gone so many counts, he'll be at the far corner and we need to rotate him 90 degrees and let him go. So let's check to see if count is greater than, and again, just take a shot at this. I'm going to say 100. Oh, you got to remember the wolf is doing 24 frames per second. and this transform's going somewhere along that same speed. So we'll just start there. So close that, open a set of curly braces. Okay, so we're going to guess at 100. And if whenever count gets greater than 100, one thing we want to do is turn the wolf to go down the next side, which the way we have him running, that'll be for him to turn to the left. So this will be a transform. And let's see, no, it's still going to do it to me. So we'll come back, and what I'm going to do this time is not to translate, which is to move the location in space, but it's going to be a rotate, which just simply changes the direction. So that's going to be a dot rotate. And again, I'll come over here and put in the transform. Okay, dot rotate. And the direction that I wish to rotate, if you think about it, the horizontal X is going this way, and that would, no, I don't want to do that. Y is going this way. So if I rotate around Y, that is exactly what I want. So nothing on the X, but I do want to move 90 degrees to the left, or turn 90 degrees to the left. Needs to be a floating point number. This is another way to designate floating point. And then nothing on the Z-axis. Okay, that should turn the wolf to the left. Now then, let's come down. Oh, yes. Once we hit 100 and we change this 90 degrees, well, it's time to start our count all over again. So we'll set count equal to 0. Okay, let's save these changes. There it is. And after it saves them, okay, check for both sides for any kind of errors. Now, okay, let's go back to Unity. Share. Okay, and give Unity a second to update itself with the new code. And the new code does show up over here, so we're doing fine. So let's see, make sure that our game view is exactly what I'm looking at. Now, I've already done it once, but I'll do it again. Let's see, you've got to select main camera, and then game object, and align with view. Okay, and now that's what it'll look like when we run this thing. So let's run it. Run the wolf running. Okay. And okay, well, definitely turning left, but I'd say we're turning left a little bit too early. So we're going to have to adjust that. Now I'm looking, and from where he's starting right now, not quite halfway. Okay, so let me stop this. All right, in the scene, I'm going to move. And while I'm here, I'm going to move the wolf a little bit closer to the edges. Needs to be closer to his boundary. Okay, so we'll do like that. Now then, he was not going far enough before I even moved him back. So let's go back into our C# code. Okay, and now then with our C# code, let's change this. Well, we know he was not quite halfway. So I'm going to take a shot at a little more than 200, because I've moved him back a little bit. So let's go with 225 and see what that looks like. So I'll save this, go back to Unity, let it update itself. And once it updates itself, we'll see how close we are now. And waiting. Okay, let's see now if he runs the perimeter correctly. 225 wasn't far enough, but I do like him being much closer to the edge like this. Okay, so if I look at this, I'm just going to take a guess. That was 100. So let me try, 300 I think is going to put him over the edge, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, stop this. And then go change the code up to 300 and see what it looks like. Okay, so from 225 to 300. And this is just part of it. You know, this was the animation that we were given to work with, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to work with the given size of the field and the given type of animation and see how this goes. Okay, so change that to 300 and share. Okay, that appears to have updated all right. And let's see what happens when he runs. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I do believe we've got it. How long will he do this? Forever. Now this, it's a little bit too sharp, too quick. There needs to be some adjustments, soften those corners a little bit. But the thing is, that's because we are this large with this wolf. And this is not a high def wolf. But like I said, it was free and it came with animation, so I'm not complaining. Anyway, let's go back and let's change our view to where it's a top-down view and see what that looks like then. So to do that, let's see, I'll change that to a hand grab. I'm in scene and I can rotate my view. And yeah, I know he's going off the screen, but if I'll leave this pretty straight on the screen, then I can pull it down. And then I'm going to use my scroll wheel to back off of it. And I need to back off of it enough I can see around all four corners. Okay, and can I ooch up? Yep, that'll do, and he'll still stay. Okay, so now then, again, I'm going to select main camera and get my main camera to align with what I'm looking at right now. And now when we run it, we should be able to see him go around the corners, and let's see what it looks like from that distance. It's still kind of harsh, but not so bad as you move away from it. Now, if I notice, he's got a good bit of distance on the back part of the property, but he's way up here on the front. So I'm going to start his position a little bit further back that way. And I think we'll be pretty close to what we want on this. So let's do moving and let's select the wolf. And yeah, this is not going to be easy to do. So I'm going to move that up a little bit just so I can get to my movement arrows. Okay, let's go back to wolf and back to that. Now then, he was okay on the blue axis. The red axis is the one where I need to move him back just a little bit. Give him a little bit of breathing room. Now, every bit I take here, I'm moving him back towards the back fence. So we'll see how this goes now. Okay, so I haven't moved the camera to this viewpoint. So on the game view, yeah, he's still there. Okay, so let's run this and see now. And hard to tell that I got him a little bit closer, but I was very conservative with that. Okay, so this is what you do. You keep ooching the values in the code, you keep ooching the location, and eventually you get this to where right now he looks like when he's running straight out, flat out, he looks pretty good. So the speeds are about right. Now then that I've got everything working, at this point I can expand my area as big as I want it to be, reposition the wolf, and then have to start replaying with how many steps to let him take. And it's like we got 300, no, it's not 300 steps, it's 300 frames. That's how long it takes him to get from one edge to the other edge is 300 frames. So that is using an animation, controlling the animation with code, working with Unity, Animator. And this I have kept as simple as I could, just so you can now take this information and your coding and put it into whatever situation you're trying to get. Thank you.